Again, the EPA, as the Academy of Sciences, Environmental Sciences, would help a lot. Now, recently, there's an island that is sinking. It's being covered over by the ocean or sea, wherever that. And they're now saying that the caps from the North and South Pole are melting because of the heat, and therefore the tides are rising. And I'm not sure about that because if the cap is in the ocean, it means that it's already compensated. In other words, although it's tall, it seems to me as if it's going to exert pressure on the water and the water would rise. So whether it melts or not, it don't seem to affect its the height of the water out there because it's already compensated for. But I mean, you can't be naive and put your head in the sand and say that the water might not be rising. These people are fooling and they're lying, and there's also some other reason. But I think that again, they're trying to limit carbon dioxide and blaming carbon dioxide for these problems, the global warming and so on, and as a side effect, the melting caps and then the increase in the ocean, seas, and lakes and bodies of water. But I want to look at some other things here because when you go back to the flood, and everything is important here: theology, religion, environmental science, chemistry, biology, everything we need to look at that will help us understand what we're dealing with here. And when we had the flood, the waters that were either a lake or it was an island because the scripture says all the water was in one place. And so to destroy the world, God allowed the water to come from within the earth, and He bust the clouds. It wasn't a cloud because the whole around the earth was a water buffet that absorbed the heat from the sun, and during the day it would be cool, and then at night it gives out the heat. So to have like an even temperature. It's not hot during the day, it's not cold during the night. It's more like a high spring, a low fall. When you go from the summer into the winter, that early fall, it's kind of like nice temperature, nice and cool, like air conditioning. And then the spring is coming on almost to the summer. It's that kind of thing. I think it was an average because there weren't homes in air conditioning, and we can take that face value. People weren't wearing winter coats and so on. It was a different environment, yada yada. Now, in the day, at night, it would be heavy heat, and of course, heat traveled in a different way. Now heat goes up, but heat was coming down there. I mean, God could change the way things are done, a lot. And so, the water abated after the flood was over. Some went back up in clouds, and then some went back into the earth as water tables and so on. And the water descended to a level in which the higher parts of the mountains now have become, a place where you can live, islands, continents, etc. But humans were living lower, I would assume, because all the water didn't dissipate, all didn't go down into the earth, nor did it form that complete circle around the globe. It happens to now be in cloud form. So I'm assuming that humans live lower on the earth, but we're living higher now because of the water nipping out there. We have to live higher on the top of the mountains and so on, the brow and at the top, as opposed to a lot of other lands that, and they say that the whole world was one country. They say that Trinidad and Venezuela were one country, but there was some earthquake or some tectonic shift in the plates and all that. No, it's because the flooded water came up, and so only higher parts of the mountain range could be, inhabitable. But the real culprit is that we are now drilling for water. We're bringing the water that is in the earth up to the earth. And when we use it, then it goes straight into the drain, sewer, whatever, toilets, whatever, and goes to the ocean, into the rivers, drains, lakes, whatever, right? And if you live in South America, and even in North America here, the Mississippi River, this massive waterway just keep moving every day and just going into the Gulf of Mexico. And it equalizes, it's going to spread out and equalize. You have the Amazon River, you have in Guyana, you have, and Venezuela, you have Big Orinoco River, you have the Demerara River, Essequibo River, Berbice River, that constantly flowing to the ocean. and it's from the rainfall and from natural springs and waterfalls and so on. And this is what is causing primarily the waters to rise. And then, of course, deforestation, cutting down the trees, which used to be a way of delaying the descent of the rain on the earth so that it would accumulate fast and run off. And the trees being there, it had a way of keeping the water in the area somehow, some way. But now every place, people have concreted a place, they put a house and roof on it and collect the water real quick, put it into the street, goes to the river, especially in Puerto Rico, you can see that as an island. And so they don't drill wells here that I know of. They collect the water from runoff from wherever it rains and so on. But most of the water is going to the ocean. So this is it more than the global warming and the carbon dioxide, but they're blaming it just to carry on the same forest, to obstruct the economy and industry and so on. So we need to stop drilling the amount of wells, and we need to use the water that the waters that are flowing, more effectively. I know that in Canada they take ships up the hill of the mountain by various locks, and perhaps we need to do that so that the Mississippi shouldn't run straight into the Gulf of Mexico. We should take that water and distribute it across the continent. I mean, in California, they need water up there. The Colorado River is not enough. And while Mississippi keeps flowing into the ocean, and perhaps even the Colorado River going into the Rio Grande, places are having droughts. And it's funny that we can be letting all this water go, millions and billions of gallons every day going into the Gulf of Mexico. When we could have distributed this to those places that need the water. So we need to manage our water. Even in Florida, you have the St. John River that goes to the Atlantic Ocean there. It comes from Orlando and all that. And it's massive. It keeps flowing. But it's fresh water going out there. So that is what is causing the rising in the sea tides as opposed to the carbon dioxide. So we need to explore this and see why we should allow all this fresh water to go into the and guess the same thing in Africa. When it's Serengeti rains and all that, they allow the water go into the ocean, and then of course they have a drought. People have no plants, no water to drink, livestock, people all them die. So we have to find creative ways of creating reservoirs, managing the water right, so that we have enough to use and eliminate or minimize the amount that rushes to the ocean. I mean, it's going to be costly, but it's we have to balance it now. I mean, if it's going to be a problem where you're going to have these big storms coming on and knocking up places, in the big picture, just like So I think we need to look at that as opposed to just blaming carbon dioxide and industry and business.